Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.
It's time to get educated on your Second Amendment right. It's time to get locked and loaded with Gun Sports Radio. Your hosts, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey, will teach you everything there is to know about firearms, self-defense, and the laws that affect your American right to own and bear arms. Now, here's your host, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey.
All right, folks, welcome. This is Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170. The Answer. This segment's brought to you by the Gun Range San Diego. It's the Nordstrom's of gun ranges, just not the price. 7853 Balboa Avenue in San Diego. Open 10 to 10, 7 days a week. In fact, they're open today, and they will be open tomorrow.
Yes,
and I bet you there'll be a crowd down there for Labor Day. But if you're looking for a shop that'll take care of you like family, the Gun Range San Diego is it. Whether you're a first-time shooter or a long-time shooter, they treat you all the same with dignity and respect. The Gun Range San Diego, like I said, the Nordstrom's of gun ranges, just not the price. Well. Do we have a special guest, or do we have a special guest?
Well, we do. We have Joe Dramisi here today.
And we have Nina Dramisi, too.
And Nina's here, too.
But I'm not the special guest.
Oh, come
You're
on.
a special
You're always
guest.
our special guest. You know, blogging every week like you do for San Diego County Gunners is a huge contribution. We appreciate you coming today. And also today we have Mr. Carl DeMaio. Welcome, Carl.
I was supposed to be here last Sunday, and
that's okay.
I failed to call in as a radio show host or former radio show host. I sat there and said, "Really? You did it to someone else? I mean, come on."
And we
so
didn't
Dave Stahl's
shame
been giving me trouble all week.
Oh, I have not. Because, hey, I understand it, and there's nothing more embarrassing for a radio guy to forget to call in. But
I didn't forget. I forgot and got tied up.
Well, excuse me, aren't you just a little bit busy right now?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Selling cars?
The congressional camping. No, I'm not selling anything anymore. My ads aren't running on Kogo.
That's right.
Hawking wares. No, I'm really trying to sell the notion that we can fight back in California if you're anything right of Mao, because we have a one-party liberal-dominated state, and the Democrats control everything.
Yep.
But I think that there is a silent majority out there that wants to stand up and fight. Many people are fleeing; they're moving out of state, but we've got to fight for California, and it starts with this congressional seat that we're about to lose. Had I not run, Republicans would have lost the last Republican congressional seat in San Diego County, the 50th district.
Really?
And that's the district that's all out in East County and North County, El Cajon, Ramona, Alpine, Lakeside, Santee, Escondido, San Marcos, and it goes all the way up to Temecula in Riverside County. We would have lost that seat because Duncan Hunter has this criminal issue, and the polling shows that he's simply unelectable at this point, given all the things that have come out. And so I said, no, I'm not going to let that happen. We need to have a voice. We have to save the seat. And more importantly than saving one seat, my goal is to use this congressional district as a platform to lead the fight in California.
Right.
And so, I'm sick and tired of seeing Republicans not have a voice in California. There's no opposition leader. We get all these crazy policies, whether it's the gun regulations from Newsom or here in San Diego City Hall, the absurd, unconstitutional local ordinance that Mara Elliott crammed down our throats 2 weeks ago, saying that, you have to keep your gun in a certain regulated state in a safe, and if you don't, you're a criminal. And so, can you imagine someone breaking into your home saying, could you please wait a moment, honey? What was the safe combination again? Was it your grandmother's birthday, or was it our granddaughter's social security number?
Honey, will you get this crook a cup of coffee while I look for my number?
You sit right here. This is absurd. You're criminalizing lawful conduct, and why aren't we actually going after the root of the problem, which are criminals? And people who are trying to do us harm? That should be the focus of our legislation and our law enforcement efforts.
And how many times have you asked them straight up, what are you going to do about getting guns away from the criminals? And what are their answers? Because I know you've asked that question a million times.
Because every time there's a mass shooting, the left comes out saying, gun control, we're not against the Second Amendment, but we need gun control. And you say, wait, hold on a second. you have all these laws on the books, and none of these laws actually are having an impact. Why don't we actually make sure that the existing laws are properly enforced and having a return on investment?
Right.
And what you'll find is, and this is where I think Republicans are negligent and need to stand up.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to stop a criminal, an evildoer, or a deranged lunatic with a gun is to have a hero standing in their way with a gun.
That's it.
And that is the only answer we should be giving. And we shouldn't be shy about it. We shouldn't be timid about it. We should be proud of the fact that our Constitution gives human rights of self-defense. That's what the Second Amendment is. And we should be embracing that. Not being coy, not being ashamed. We should be pushing back on that radical agenda from the left, not cowering.
I agree.
And Carl, why is that we don't seem to be doing that? Because this is just, it's happening again here in Texas with this latest shooting they had the other day. And again, we allow the left to go with that narrative. And already they're saying we have no information on the gun, but we think it's an AR style. Who cares about the gun?
Yeah.
It's, of course it's an
Republicans
AR. It's the most popular rifle out there.
Republicans are either cowards or they're incompetent. Okay, most. Okay, there are some.
We just haven't found the right.
Good ones.
We haven't found the right Republican, and maybe and hopefully that's you.
I'm willing to step forward.
You don't mind getting kicked around.
Oh hells no! It was funny. I was filling out an endorsement questionnaire the other day, and they said anything bad on you. I'm like, not that I know of, but I'm sure Democrats will make something up these days. But really to the point. I think that on the issue of gun control, you've got the left with a very clear agenda, which is it's the gun's fault.
Right,
The gun sprouted up and did something bad. It's like, no, the evildoer did, the deranged lunatic did.
Right.
But they've got a very clear message, and their prescription is very clear. But what is the prescription or the message or the response on the Republican side? Besides thoughts and prayers, which, again, you should always say thoughts and prayers in a tragedy, I actually believe that we should have a vibrant, bold solution, which is, okay, how about we do this? Make sure that we have expanded concealed carry. Make sure that we have education in the classroom as to what kids can do in the event of an emergency. Back during the Cold War, I seem to remember we did the whole get under your desk if there's a nuclear, we actually taught kids what to do.
Sure.
Why not say there are deranged lunatics out there trying to do bad things, and when they do it, here's some of the good housekeeping things you can do. If you want to flee, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with fleeing. But if you can suspend that first emotion and that inclination, it actually mathematically is better if everyone attacks the shooter.
Yeah, because there's only one of them.
There's only one of them.
Right.
That's right. And so I rolled out last week at San Diego County Gun Owners with Michael Schwartz support and endorsement, something called the Let's Roll Initiative. It's a 5-point plan. I want to get into the details, but the reason why I call it Let's Roll is you may remember 9/11 on Flight 93, Todd Beamer and a group of other Americans thought at first that they should cower and comply and just sit in their seats, but then they started getting calls from people on the ground, and they said, no, you're on a flight that's being used as a weapon. And so they chose uncertain death versus certain death. And what they did by fighting back on Flight 93, and he said, let's roll. That was his last words into the phone as he was getting these folks ready to take on the cockpit. What Todd Beamer did and what those American heroes did is they saved lives. Now, they ultimately perished, but they saved countless lives because they took the weapon out of the hands of the deranged, lunatic, radical Islamic terrorists. And so, again, can I wave a magic wand and cause lunatics not to do evil things? No, I can't. No. The left wants to tell you that they have a magic wand. It's called gun control. It's a lie.
Right.
And now, if you want to give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt, it's really horribly misinformed. But I actually think that they actually know that this stuff doesn't work and that they are literally lying and trying to sell us a bill of goods. So what I want to do is save lives. And the only way you do that is to literally embrace the Second Amendment and implement these 5 points that we've included in the Let's Roll.
What are they, real quick?
What are the 5
Real quick,
points?
number 1 is educate our kids on self-defense. The Second Amendment is the human right of self-defense.
Yes.
All right? It's not the right to have a gun. It's the human inherent right that if you are attacked, you have the right to defend yourself, and you cannot be prosecuted for lawful defense.
Right.
So it's a human right. We need to also tell them how they can exercise that. The things to do when you're attacked. I remember my mom telling my sister, if someone ever tries to rape you, vomit or urinate. I mean, I don't think that that's the best thing to do.
But it's better than nothing.
But it's better than nothing. And so it's what can we teach our kids to do in those situations, and how do they know what the lawful gun rules are so they can understand their Second Amendment rights? Number 2, national concealed carry, because some of our states are abridging our Second Amendment rights by making it impossible, i.e. California. San Diego has been turning around a bit, but still a national concealed carry program that would have to be adhered to and honored by all the states.
Right.
Third, you would have a school officer reserve program that would be funded, that if you're ex-military, ex-law enforcement, you can adopt a school, and there will be protocols and funding for that. Fourth, we would have a national reward program so that if you do take down a gunman during a mass shooting, you will get a reward. I don't want to know the name of the gunman, okay? I don't want their name uttered on the airwaves. I can't stop that because it's the First Amendment, but you know what? I want to talk about the heroes. I want to do a big ceremony giving them money because we should have the emphasis on the heroes. And fifth, sure, we ought to have the background checks, but let's make sure that when you do a background check that you have good data. Do you know that some of the data, 23 states, are reporting bogus, faulty, out-of-date, and inconsistent data. And so there are some people who are being denied their Second Amendment rights because the government computer has the wrong data in it. And it's you hear the horror stories. It's almost impossible. Yeah. So we need to get these 5 things done. There may be more ideas. I'm not saying that this is it.
Those are great. Those are a great
let's start.
Absolutely. Hey, let's take a quick break. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170. The Answer. Welcome back to Gun Sports Radio. We're on FM 96.1, AM 1170, The Answer. As you know, lawful AR ownership is increasingly under attack. California's assault weapon laws make it impossible to legally keep your AR rifle with the features it was born with. What's the solution? It's called Cali Key. The Cali Key removes your rifle from the definition of an assault weapon by converting any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight pull-bolt action rifle. It's a true drop-in solution. In less than a couple of minutes, you are good to go. No milling, no aesthetic modifications, and no turning off your gas systems either. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. We love these guys. Check out Cali Key at CaliKey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. And while you're at it, what's the best defense for self-defense? And those horrible new red flag laws. It's called Firearms Legal Protection. Mike, Lance, and I, we use them. And for less than $10 a month, check it out. You can't even buy lunch for $10. Firearms Legal Protection is a legal defense program for lawful gun owners with a 24/7 emergency hotline and plans designed specifically for the firearms owner. Firearms Legal Protection is the best legal protection for self-defense. You need to be ready if they knock on your door and try to take your guns away. The red flag laws, stay away. Talk to the good folks at Firearms Legal Protection. That's Firearms Legal Protection at www.firearmslegal.com or call them at 469-310-9100. Firearmslegal.com. Be ready for the new red flag laws. They're coming. All right, Mr. Pelkey, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. And it's so great to have Joe and Carl here with us today. What a group.
What a treat.
Yeah, it is.
Without a doubt. And we've got John Dillon on the line.
He's the
From
man.
Attorneys, Gatsky, Dillon, and Balance, LLP. If you ever get in a situation, and by the way, if you do belong to Firearms Legal and get yourself pulled over and you need their assistance, there's a good chance you're going to get John as their lawyer of choice here in Southern California. Go to cafirearmslaw.com or call him at 760-431-9501. John is a man when it comes to protecting your rights. How you doing, John?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Not too bad. What kind of great news have you got for us today? I always say that. You never come
well, it's somewhat fitting with Carl being on and talking about his 5-point plan. I was going to talk about two things that our legislature is doing that will not do anything to help mass shootings, or it won't help anyone from being hurt with firearm, and it won't keep bad guys from getting guns. So, and that would be their gun rationing bills that they've just voted on Friday. One of them would amend current law that only allows you to buy one handgun per 30 days, and it would apply it to all firearms. So essentially, the maximum amount of firearms you'd be able to purchase in a 1-year period would be 12. And I know people that aren't in this industry and aren't into guns that much think, 12 guns, that's just an amazing amount of number. That's an arsenal. But it's not. Let's be honest. It's the law itself is flawed. They try to claim that it fights gun trafficking when we all know that the illegal guns that go out on the streets that are sold illegally, it's because they're stolen from houses, they're stolen from gun shops, and then they get sold illegally. This isn't your everyday gun owner going in just wanting to buy his set of single action revolvers for his ASS competition, and now he has to wait 2 months to get his gun. It's just an absurdity.
And it's not going to fix anything.
No, it's not going to do anything. It's purely when you look at it, it is to keep people from buying guns. That is the only reason only rational reason that it exists. And like I said, it's not going to do anything to help anyone. Like Carl's 5-point plan, it's much better to have, retired military, law enforcement, volunteering to protect schools and other, so-called, gun-free zones. There should be people that have, a lot of training that are there to protect people and armed. That's going to save lives. Making me wait 2 months to buy 2 guns, that's not going to save anyone's life. It's just going to be a hassle on me, and it's going to annoy me when I want to go buy another gun.
But it will get a Democrat politician in the news,
yes,
and they get to say, I don't like murder. I don't like people dying. Yay, me. I mean, that's why they're doing it.
That's why
It's all window dressing.
Yeah. It's a virtue signaling way. They know it'll get them certain votes and certain support.
Sure.
And they know it doesn't help anyone. Just like, preventing 18-year-olds from purchasing firearms. We got the same author in these bills. It's not going to help anyone. The people that are going to use a firearm to kill people, they're not really going to care if they're not allowed to legally buy a gun. They go buy it illegally. If I'm going to traffic illegally in guns, making me wait, 2 months to buy 2 guns, that I'm not going to go to a gun shop to traffic my firearms. I'm going to get them illegally. It's just, there's no rational thought to these things. And it won't help anyone.
And they've never proved yet that a killing is spur of the moment. Most of the times when somebody's going to go out and do a mass murder, if they look at their Facebook, if they talk to their friends, they've been talking about it for months. It's just most people don't say anything. So I would understand it if it was a spur of the moment thing, but it's not. It's a planned attack, whether they're mentally stable or not.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things that we've seen with a number of these mass shootings is, you have people that don't have criminal records. So, of course, they pass background checks. They haven't been committed to a mental institution. So, of course, they pass background check. And then they plan this stuff out. They think about it. They plan it out. They acquire firearms over a long period of time, or they just sit back and plan how they're going to do it. There is no law that you can think up that is going to change that outcome. The law will not do it because these guys don't care about them, and it's not going to happen. And I always like to bring this up when people are talking about, just get that one more gun law. Well, it'll fix everything. If we just conceded and said, fine, every gun law you can think of, let's put it on the books right now. I would bet anything that next year, same time, because the shootings would still happen, even if we passed every gun law they wanted. There'd be another shooting, and next year at the same time, there'd be another gun law that they want to push forward because somehow just that one more will fix it. That one more will fix it, and it won't. They've been doing this for 60 years. Just one more law, one more law, one more law will do it. And it's very clear that these laws don't. And so you can see their agenda if you look at it. The agenda is take all the guns.
Yeah. I would argue
take
that
all the guns, but prevent people from getting guns.
I would argue the agenda is not about the guns, even though that's what they want to ban.
Yeah.
Their agenda is political. These are Democrats
That's
who know
all it
what
is.
they're saying is a bunch of horse pucky, and they are sitting there just trying to scare people into getting votes. They crave power. They're not trying to save lives. They crave power. And this is the message and the vehicle by which they're trying to gin up votes by saying the other side wants people to be shot and killed.
Right.
And they're the only ones that want to protect life. I'm so sick and tired of that being the way the terms of debate are being presented.
That's their narrative. Well, look at the automotive industry. How many people die a year in a car? We're talking thousands.
Yep.
Thousands.
I guess we have to ban cars.
So we got to ban
cars.
cars.
More people die from hands and fists and hammers than they do all rifles.
Yeah, or knives.
Total.
Look at knives. Knives is, I mean, just because you don't die from a knife, you can sure get sliced up. So none of this narrative makes any sense at all. We would all be walking right now if they really chase cars like they chase guns.
By the way, last year, 1,590 people were killed using knives or other sharp instruments.
Yeah.
And in the last 5 years total, 261 people were murdered with the broadly defined term assault weapons.
Right.
Yet, what is the focus nationally? It's, we have to ban assault weapons. You're talking about less than, 0.5% of all gun-related homicides. And when we did an assault weapon ban at the federal level, it had no impact both before and after the ban went into effect. So no data supports their supposition, but that's where the media is fixated on. Well, what about the assault weapon ban? Yeah, let's talk about it. What about it? It failed. It doesn't work.
Well, then they'll yell at you.
See, Carl, your problem is you're telling people facts and you're using rational thought. That's your problem.
Well, what you need to do on these cable shows is actually turn to the anchor and say, before I answer your question, what defines assault weapon? Because I know it's a scary sounding term, but it actually doesn't have a common definition. And second of all, did you know? And then just ask them the question back. Let them seem like the fool for asking about that. You know what? What we really need to do is we need to make sure that we ban elevators. Because more people died in elevator accidents than through assault weapons. Yeah. I mean, when you start turning the tables around, the interviewer then sits there and realizes you've owned them on national TV. And then they have to slank away with their tail between their legs.
And they hate that. They hate slanking.
Well, you saw the reaction after one of the mass shootings that happened recently. It was Neil deGrasse Tyson put out some pure factual figures on his Twitter saying, amount of deaths in 48 hours in all these other circumstances, and said, sometimes we sensationalize things and, don't look at the hard numbers. And he got reamed over it from, let's say one side of the political spectrum because he just provided a rational, objective analysis of the numbers and said, look, tragic, no doubt, but let's, look at this from a truly a numbers perspective, which is what you have to do when you're considering things on a national level or even a state level.
See, that's exactly right, too, because, the last, I think, 2 articles that I wrote about that exact kind of stuff and looking at the exact numbers. And realistically, it's our fault. The left's been doing this for the last 50 years. Yeah. And we've allowed them to control that narrative. And now we're playing catch up now, trying to fight back on that, and we're in a tough position. But people need to start standing up and need to start educating people, just like Carl was saying. If more Republicans would turn this around when they're being interviewed by these people and ask them the questions, you could start to have an effect, I think. But, we're going to have to start doing that soon.
Well, we got to get a reporter in there that is not afraid. That's the way it is, because until that reporter shows up, it's going to be this way. Or as Biden would like to say, I believe in the truth, not the facts. Just that simple.
Well said.
Well said. All right, buddy. Hey, thanks a lot for calling in. It's always great.
You can, of course.
Get back to your honeydews. I'm sure you're busy.
Sounds good, guys.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, John.
Hey, folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, a whole lot more right here on Gun Sports Radio. We got Carl DeMaio. And coming up, we got maybe Jason. Maybe. Casey's back. Yay. Finally got that pay raise he was looking for.
I hope.
Right here on Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170, The Answer. Folks, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170. This show is for you all out there, especially if you're into your Second Amendment rights. I mean, somebody's got to stand up, and that's what we're doing. Hey, as you know, lawful AR ownership is increasingly under attack. California's assault weapon laws make it impossible to legally keep your AR with all the features it was born with. What's the solution? It's Cali Key. The Cali Key removes your rifle from the definition of an assault weapon by converting any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight pull-bolt action rifle. It's a true drop-in solution. In less than a couple of minutes, you're good to go. No milling, no aesthetic modifications, and no turning off your gas systems either. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. We love those guys. Cali Key at CaliKey.com. That's K-A-L-I-K-E-Y. K-A-L-I-K-E-Y.com. All right, one of our favorite segments coming up, the Gun Range San Diego, 7853 Balboa Avenue, open 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Go to thegunrangesandiego.com for all of the fun stuff they have to offer at the gun range. Like I always say, it's the gun range is the Nordstrom's of gun ranges, just not the price. Whether you're a first-time shooter or a long-time shooter, they'll treat you like family. That is The Gun Range San Diego at thegunrangesandiego.com. Hey, Casey, you decided to come back to work?
Oh, I had a couple days off here and there. I guess I might as well make an appearance here again.
Well, you do have a face for radio, so
yeah.
What do you got for us today? What do you got for us today?
Well, what do we got? First things first, going to tell some people about some of the deals we got going on. If people don't know, the Springfield program is back on, which means for some of their 1911s, which are their loaded series, their EMPs, which are the 9 mils, and their XDs, on a majority of them, they have their Gear Up program, which means if you buy one of those firearms right now, we have the Gear Up packages in the store with us, which means you get a full-on carry case, a carry bag, a holster, mag pouch, and 5 magazines, all for free.
That's huge.
So it's like huge savings. So we're selling, as quick as we get these things in, they're already gone. So people are looking to get a 1911. The loaded is around $8.99. We got a little wiggle room. We'll see what we can do for y'all. And come in and get a 1911 or XD or an EMP. So, we're doing sales on here. Labor Day, yeah, we're pretty much, we don't have any dedicated sales, but we understand it's going to be Labor Day coming in. So people want to come in, yeah, we can do a little wheeling and dealing with people left and right.
And each one of those are amazing. And do you guys have those in your rental fleet as well? If someone wanted to try one?
Yep. We have the XCs, we have the 1911s over there, we have the EMP over there. EMP is probably one of my more favorite 9mm pistols just because it's a subcompact with a 1911 frame with a 3-inch bull barrel on it. That little thing is a tack driver. It's a fun gun.
And that loaded is really something as well.
Exactly, yeah. That loaded was actually the first pistol I ever bought. I probably have around 6,000-7,000 rounds through mine, and I have abused that poor thing, but she keeps running.
Yeah, that's a great first time gun for a first time owner too.
Yeah, especially for your 1911s. 1911s are always going to be a little bit more expensive. there's one of the oldest firearms still in production.
Sure.
That hasn't really been modified, and so if people are trying to look at those ones or thinking about getting them, now's the time with this Gear Up package, because let's be honest, magazines aren't cheap. They're
right.
When you look at it, you're like, $40 for a mag, and you're like, dang, do I really want to do it? I know we just spent $800-900 on a gun, then we see $40, we're like, I don't want to touch it.
And then, Joe, do you have one of those MPs or anything like that?
No, I don't. I'm one of those people that needs to pick up a 1911, and that's in my plan, and I'm thinking about it now that I just heard this. May have to alter my plan a bit.
The Springfield loaded. Springfield comes with a lifetime warranty. That's one of the greatest things about them. The loaded edition come with ambidextrous safety, extended beaver tail, skeletal hammer, match grade trigger, match grade barrel, and night sights already on it.
Yep.
And Springfield makes a very nice 1911.
Absolutely.
And you can't beat the 5 magazines. That's worth it for itself.
No, exactly. Yeah, the whole case, the whole bags, everything that comes with it. Springfield does this about once a year for for certain firearms. Then after this, they'll probably do it for like the Springfield Saints, and after that, they'll probably do the M1As again. So they cycle through all their firearms just because it's more incentive for people to buy. And hey, we're not complaining.
And they're
expensive.
They're able to keep their firearms on the California roster somehow, also, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. So Springfield's been doing really good on that, especially when it comes to the roster. They haven't really changed that much. Now Springfield does have a plethora of all other 1911s that I wish we can get here. I mean, they have, you have your TRP series. Well, they have those TRPs in 9mm also. Mm-hmm. And they have 4-inch TRPs with 9mm and 45. They have awesome guns.
Yeah.
I love my Springfield 1911s. When it comes down to it, you can get your Ed Browns, your Nighthawks, your Wilson Combats. Excellent guns, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to pay $3,000 or $4,000 for that.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I'm not a cheapskate, but I've buy a new car and a dirt bike, have a new toy out there, or a 9mm rifle is what I was going to talk to us about today. That's kind of the big thing that's actually been really taking off is these 9mm rifles.
I have one
that have become the Ruger PC9, awesome rifle,
awesome
rifle. It's a takedown rifle. They have a new one with a M-lock rail already on it, and then they have them with you can put compensators on them. Great 9mm rifles. Cool thing about them, if you have a Glock, they take Glock mags. Yeah. They have the adapter that comes with it. You can throw your Glock mag in it and run it, and it's a 9mm rifle. Thing about that one is it doesn't have a pistol grip, so you don't have to deal with some of the California laws because of that. Mm-hmm. When it comes to other 9mm rifles, probably one of the number one ones we sell would be the CZ Scorpions. Those ones are real cool. They'll run about $1,100, $1,200, and they're a 9mm rifle. So there's a model that's compensated. There's a model with a fake suppressor on it. It's pretty cool. We have them both here on the range. Awesome 9mm rifles. Beneficial of those is it's 9mm. It's cheap to shoot. It's fun to shoot. Low recoil, so a lot of people like to shoot them. And say in a self-defense situation, this would actually be a decent firearm for an in-home self-defense situation if you want to use a rifle.
Sure.
We all know downsides of AR-15s and stuff is, yes, you have a powerful round, this and that, but that powerful round will definitely go through the bad guy and through the next 3 walls over. If you're using your carry rounds from your 9mm or whatever in this gun, you don't got to worry about that. And then you have this nice light compact, because that's the cool thing about all these 9mm rifles. They're lightweight. I tend to prefer the AR-9s. You can still make those, or not necessarily make those. You can buy them. They'll basically be a 9mm lower registered as a rifle. It has to have a 6-inch barrel, of course, make it featureless. That's the easiest way. But they make a majority of those that will run with 9mm or Glock magazines in them. And those things are awesome because the thing about it is most people are familiar with AR-15s. Most people know how to use them. And then if I have a same rifle in 9mm, I'm fluent in it. I know exactly the ins and outs of it. And so it's not just like learning a new weapon system. I don't got to change anything. I know where my mag release is. I know where my safety is. I know how to manipulate this firearm. So that's the kind of the benefits of 9mm.
We see a lot of those shooting matches, USPSA matches on Saturdays with the new PCC, the pistol caliber carbine division. Lots of people are shooting those, and they look like just so much fun. They can shoot them really quickly. They're a blast, and we see a lot of women now moving to those and shooting those.
Absolutely.
They look a lot of fun.
Well, it's like I have one. It's almost like the recoil is almost like a 22. I mean, but it's a 9mm, so it'll hit something. But it's almost like a 22. You put that red dot on there, that thing hits everything, and it's so much fun to shoot. And that Ruger, it's just so well made, and then it breaks down into 2. I mean, it's it's a fabulous thing for everybody.
Throw it in a backpack and it rolls. The new PCC matches that they're doing, you've seen everybody run. Those things are awesome, and they're fun because you're not having this. AR-15s, they make those race guns really, really light. But again, you've seen these guys run out there with these little 9mm ones, and they're just blazing through this whole course as fast as they can because they're not worried about recoil or anything. They're just clacking away left and right. And it's great.
That's what people are buying. And how much are those at the gun range?
The PC9s, they go for $549 for the non-rail, and I think it's like $699-ish for the railed one.
Yeah.
If you already have the PC9 without the rail, Midwest Industries makes a rail for it. It's a 12-inch rail. I think it's like $150 around there, but it's a rail that just undo a bolt, put it on, then you have the rail on it. So that's another option. If you already have a PC9 and you want to throw a rail on it, they got you.
Yeah, I have the one without the rail. I just had that red dot on there, man. It just and I'll be shooting it again at the San Diego County Gun Owners has their barbecue coming up.
Awesome.
In the next month or two. So for the folks who haven't joined San Diego County Gun Owners yet, please do. San Diego County Gun Owners.com. We've got our barbecue coming up, and You could bring them whatever you got.
What's the date on that barbecue?
I have it somewhere.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Where's this one? Where's the barbecue going to be at?
It's going to be in Fallbrook at a private.
I know.
At a private shooting
At my ranch. There
Coming
you
out.
go. That's the way to
Coming
do it.
out to your hacienda.
It's fun.
Rancho Deluxe. That's what
There
I
you
call
I like that. Rancho Deluxe.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how it rolls. There's nothing wrong with 9mm rifles, So I encourage people, if people want to, step away from the AR platforms and the 5.56, 223s, but still want a rifle that's fun to shoot, inexpensive.
Yeah.
Check out 9mm. They're awesome rifles.
And you got 9mm all over the place, and plus, everyone's got Glock magazines for the most part, or your friend
For the
does.
most part, yep.
So
Yeah.
it's
and,
low cost.
And we have them here. Glock mags are like $30 each, if that. Depends on which ones, and everybody has them. That's the thing about it. So there's just everything's beneficial to this gun.
Got it. What's the website for you guys?
This is thegunrangesd.com.
Open till
10 to 10 every single day. Will be open tomorrow also.
Wonderful, my man.
All right, buddy.
All day, every day.
All day, every day. All right. Well, hey, we'll let you go ahead and take off. Go shoot something, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Sounds good. I'll see you guys next week.
All right, folks. Hey, folks, that's Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170. The Answer. Folks, welcome back. You are listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170, The Answer. Hey, do you know what's the best defense for self-defense in those horrible new red flag laws? Firearms legal protection. Mike Lance and I use them. Firearms legal protection is a legal defense program for lawful gun owners with a 24/7 emergency hotline and plans designed specifically for firearms owners. Firearms legal protection is the best legal protection for self-defense. You need to be ready if that knock on the door comes to take your guns away using red flag laws. Talk to the good folks at Firearms Legal Protection today. That's Firearms Legal Protection at www.firearmslegal.com or call them at 469-310-9100. That's firearmslegal.com at 469-310-9100. Again, firearmslegal.com. It's a website you need to go to. Be ready for those new red flag laws. All right, we got Sam the Gunman on the line. How you doing, Sam?
I'm fantastic. How are you guys?
Just living the dream. Boy, we got a question for you.
Boy, do we have a question to you. But before we start, is that a hurricane kind of moving up the coast and maybe heading your way?
Not heading our way, fortunately.
Okay,
good. But you're ready, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's ready.
All right.
And what do you have sitting in front of you right now?
Water bottle.
Water bottle.
There you go.
Not the San Diego County gun owner's mug with a chocolate milk or glass?
Not this time. I drank all the chocolate milk.
Wonderful. Carl DeMaio sitting here. He's got his the radio show mug in front of him. So
all right,
we got to get something in it.
So we got a question.
We do have a question. So this question is from Bobby in beautiful Chula Vista, California. Now Bobby's going to get himself a San Diego County gun owner's T-shirt for turning in this wonderful question, and what he is gunning for is to get one of those famous San Diego County gun owners coffee mugs. So he proposed this question, and the question would be, what is the equivalent gauge to a 410? What's the equivalent gauge to a 410?
What's the equivalent gauge to a 410?
That's right.
Now, Bobby, I think you're going to earn that mug tonight.
Get out.
I actually don't remember I knew it once, but I can't say off the top of my head what the equivalent gauge is. As I recall, it's something like 32 or thereabouts, but I'm sorry. I know that it's the same bore diameter as it's like a .45 something bore diameter, but I don't know the.
You're heading down the right trail because there's
Just give him three choices.
There's actually I guess there's some kind of calculation to get to that.
Does he get a phone a friend?
I think he gets a phone a friend. He could kind of like that taxi show, but I think in Europe it's commonly called a 36 gauge for some reason. No one really knows why. But
they're Europeans. They like doing things differently.
Exactly, but there's some kind of calculation and there's some math, and so I think depending on the math that's used, it's either it's a 67 or a 68 or a 69 gauge. There's some kind of calculation, and so.
What do you want to bet he'll have an answer by the time next Sunday shows up?
Yeah, I think he'll have that one looked up. I think it was swimming around your brain, and so.
I'll have to research it, but
yeah.
So the thing about gauge, for those of you who are listening and who don't know, if you live in Chula Vista, you can just ask Bobby. But the gauge is a measure of how many lead balls of that diameter.
Exactly, that's the math. I knew he knew this.
For those of you who are wondering, hey, why is a 12 gauge bigger than a 20 gauge? It's a smaller number. That means that because it's wider, you need only 12 lead spheres to make 1 pound of lead, as opposed to 20. And so that's how that works.
Yeah, and then also, isn't there? I mean, so anyway, that's it. So, all right. Well, the coffee mug will go to Bobby this time around, and we'll have you look that one up. And better luck next week.
Thanks.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Who's that short little British lady who throws people
Carl
off the
just
show?
flushed you. Okay, love your show. Talk to you next week.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thank
To
you.
let you guys down, you guys have a good one.
Okay, thanks.
You
again.
too, man.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Well, Carl, we love your 5-point plan, and
Let me give the website. People can go and look at it under the news section of carldemaio.com, CarlDemaio.com. And while you're there, if you'd like to give a $5 donation, we're grassroots funded at carldemaio.com.
Absolutely.
And it's just the starting point, because I know there's other ideas that we could advance to make people more secure and safe. But that's what I want to start, is whenever the liberals show up and say, let's get rid of the guns, our response should be, that makes us less safe. This is what will make us more safe.
Yep.
Because the American people need to know that people who believe in the Second Amendment ultimately believe in protecting lives. Yep. That's what we're about. That's why we have the freedom in the first place. And we need to get out there passionately and be explaining that. That's the whole concept behind Let's Roll.
So how's it been received so far?
Well, the liberals don't like it because, of course, you get the sarcastic tweets like, oh, yeah, that's what we really need are more guns, more people with guns. It's like, look, I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to engage.
But how about the spectrum of Republicans? Because there is quite a Republican spectrum in itself.
I've had a number of candidates running for office contact me saying, can I endorse your plan? Can I use your plan? I'm like, sure, no pride of authorship. Take it, run with it. What we want to do is get more people on our side, the freedom-loving side, to be armed with the right facts and pursuing the right agenda. And that's just the start. That's just the start of this concept.
Yeah.
And it's not just going to be on Second Amendment issues where we have to do this. There's a whole host of issues. But I figured, given what has been happening in the news cycle time and time again, and the shooting in Texas over the weekend was just the latest example, I believe that lunatics, mentally deranged individuals are craving the notoriety that the 24/7 news cycle gives them.
No doubt.
And so when the media says, well, I wonder why these things are happening, I can turn and say, well, you seem to have a fixation and you're giving them their day and then some in the national media cycle. I don't want to hear their name. I want to call them the deranged lunatic number 2.
Exactly.
Just simply, say the latest deranged lunatic was taken down by the hero so-and-so. And then I want to know about the hero. I want their name. I want to get them on TV. I want them interviewed. I want them rewarded. I want them to be the role model of what we should emulate, not this crazed lunatic, that wants the notoriety. Here's the other thing. Ask a liberal this. Can you tell me last year how many mass shootings targeted police substations? Of course, none. Why? Because deranged lunatics aren't going to target a police substation because they know they won't get very far.
Nope, they'll get shot.
They go after the movie theater, they go after the school, they go after the church because
the synagogues.
They know they will be able to do the most damage and their evil will have a larger footprint. We don't want their evil to have a large footprint. We want to stop them dead in their tracks. If you start doing that, you take the infamy away and you limit the ability for them to inflict pain, they're going to sit there and say, oh, I'll have to do something else to inflict pain on the world. Right. I'll just vote Democrat.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
well, you're right. And it's like the John Dillinger syndrome. You know, I mean, Dillinger loved to be in the newspaper.
Yeah.
He loved being in the media. And the media just can't quite figure out how to walk away from that. But I like the way you look at it.
Because they get ratings off of it. Because people tune in and they want to know about the deranged lunatic and they want to hear the manifesto. They are crazy by design. I don't care what they wrote.
Yeah.
And if you read some of these manifestos,
they're crazy.
They're equally liberal and they're equally conservative. The only thing you hear are the conservative parts. You know what? Crazy don't have an ideology.
That's
crazy
right.
is crazy.
That's right.
And I don't care about what they wrote because, by definition, they're lunatic.
Right. I know. Yeah. And we got to start talking. I mean, look at the one in Florida where the police knew about this guy. Mm-hmm. And there's all, I mean, really, when you look at really deep in each one of these mass murders, the mass murderer has been talking about this for months before he does it.
And law enforcement typically knows. But I also want to recognize we're not going to be able to have a fail-safe system to weed out the lunatics and get them the mental health or contain them. And that is why your best defense is your Second Amendment right of self-defense.
That is your right.
And we have to start explaining that really is strategy number one. Strategy number one is anyone who's deranged tries to kill you or someone you love or someone who's innocent, we're going to have people there to stop them. Mm-hmm. Strategy two is let's see if we can figure out who the crazies are before they go to that point and try to get them the help. But the reality is we live in a broken world and people are out there and we're not going to be able to spot them soon enough and get them the sort of help.
Right.
It will be a continual challenge. But the one thing that won't be a continual challenge is having enough people there ready to defend life. That is the core
and
of it.
And that's part of what we talked about on the show a lot, that, that everybody has to realize that they're their own first responder. You have to let that sink in, everybody. You're your own first responder.
That's right.
What are you going to do for that first 5 to 15 minutes?
There's nothing wrong with fleeing. Okay, I'm not saying everyone has to fight.
Right, but if you're your house, your car, wherever you're at, you have to be ready to be your own first responder. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show.
Hey, I appreciate it. We hope to be back.
Oh, you're always welcome.
I'm glad that you guys are doing it. I know you have a loyal following and listenership, and everything I can do to promote, let me know.
And what's the website again?
Yeah, what's the website? People can help you.
CarlDeMaio.com.
Yeah, look up that 5-point plan. Look up the Let's Roll plan. Yeah,
I like that. I like that. Because you're one of the first persons that's come up with a plan outside of taking away my guns.
Well, you can thank San Diego County gun owners and Michael Schwartz.
Well, I know. We do. We all the time.
I said, hey, Michael, what do we do? Okay, I'll hear you go.
He's already got it all written out, man. That guy, he's on top.
He's great. Greg does great stuff.
And hopefully Michael will be back next week.
He'll be back next week
with a big bag of new ski sausages.
Oh, without...
Because he is back in Wisconsin, killing fish and eating sausages. He bought that fish at a fish store.
Yeah, he posted a fish.
I seen the tag. I seen the tag on the little fin.
Got it.
Yeah, Fred's Fish Store. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, I got an exciting show for you. Have you ever heard of Touch a Truck? Well, if you hang around long enough, you'll find out. We've got Nina Dramisi in the house, and she's going to talk for a full hour. We're just going to get up and leave and let her roll. Right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170, The Answer.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.